Hey, what's up guys, John here. Credit card defaults just hit the highest point since the great financial crisis.
Credit card debt delinquencies are taking off.
Increase in delinquencies can be seen across income groups and regions. It is disproportionately driven by millennials.
And interest rates on credit cards, they've now hit the highest point since 1985. This is not taking into consideration that interest rates have just increased just a couple days ago. So this is going to probably hit all-time highs in terms of credit card interest rates. At least, much greater than 1985. So you start to look at what's unfolding right now, coupled with sky-high inflation, you're going to start to see, I think, a really, really big change that's going to be incoming in America. And this change is actually going to push millions of people outside of the country over the coming couple years. Because when you look at the high cost of living,
the typical American household spends $270 more per month on everyday goods than 1 year ago, and over $1,000 per month more from 3 years ago.
In America, if you live in any city, you're looking at $2,500 a month, minimum for one bedroom. You're looking at high utility bills, high car insurance. Everything is extremely expensive. You could easily burn $4 or $5 grand a month and still walk away with a credit card debt at the end of the month. And so what I think we're going to start to see here is a huge migration of people looking to increase their quality of living and decrease their monthly expenses. And in this video, I'm going to talk about this. Please hit the like button, YouTube, share the content, educate more people about what's going on in America. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for Monday. Look at this view, it's beautiful, right? But I think we're going to start seeing here is we're going to see two really, really big changes. The first is going to become predatory lenders are going to start coming out of the woodworks left, right, and center. Over the next couple of years, as credit card companies continue to likely contract their credit, especially to borrowers they deem as high risk. Because when you look at, there's a chart from, I believe it was NerdWallet, that said that defaults in Texas were 30% of all borrowers, 30% of people not paying their bills. And then you had Alabama over 30%. You had Missouri, Mississippi, Florida, California, Texas, literally every single state in the country, not one was below 10%. There's only one or two, like 12, 13%. Everything else was above 15%. So the defaults were just getting out of control. So what I think we're going to start seeing here is as interest rates continue to increase, is we're going to likely see a scenario where credit's going to contract, and then we're going to see a lot more payday lenders, installment lenders, car title loans, all these predatory products come out, and people are going to have a harder chance saying no because they're simply going to need the line of credit, right? They're going to hope that they can pay it back soon, but it's just going to be like this debt trap that's going to be coming. But I think we're going to see that really start to spur a lot, and we're going to see that really grow as a business, which is not great for America. And the second thing we're going to start seeing here is people looking to relocate, looking to make a change. And that's a sad reality. I love America, but that's a sad reality that I think a lot of people are facing right now, is that it just doesn't make sense for most people to stay, especially if they're single. They don't really have as many friends, or not as many friends as they used to, and they're looking for a way in which they can, get ahead, save some money. I think we're going to start seeing that grow, and they're going to start going to places in Mexico. They're going to start going to places in Latin America, certain places in Europe, Asia. We're going to start seeing all of this, and it's going to be a very interesting change for America, because you're going to see millions of people coming to the country, but at the same time, you're going to see millions of Americans leaving. So what I believe is likely going to happen is I believe that as we start seeing this debt crisis get worse, we're going to see some big opportunities for entrepreneurs that are making those tough calls now. Not even really tough calls, they're obvious calls. Put yourself in a really, really strong position financially. Stack as much cash as you can. Put yourself in a place to where you have stable income, either through your employer or through your business. Put yourself in a place to where you have low consumer debt. And put yourself in a place, if you're a lender, you'd want to lend you money. Because, this is a really nice little spot here. Because when you do that, and you're sitting around 10 other people and 9 of them didn't do that, you're going to be the one that gets approved on the loan. You're going to be the one that goes out there and makes something of a bad situation, which is what it all comes down to. During the hard times, the real money is made. There's a saying I heard a long time ago. It was the real money is made when the masses are afraid. And when you see credit card defaults hitting all-time highs, and you see inflation costing the average family $1,000 a month, and you see all the turbulence that's coming to the economy, all the changes that are unfolding in America, it's obvious to see when there's 90% of the people, it seems like it anyway, that are kind of oblivious to what's going on, and you're one of the 10% that's not, and you're in a strong position financially, you're going to be able to thrive, right? That's what it's all going to come down to. You're going to be the one that's going to thrive and really seize the moment. Because one thing that I think, if I could pull one really positive thing from this entire thing or this entire problem that America's went through, and a lot of countries have went through the last couple of years, is that before 2019, nobody would imagine, not many anyway, would imagine saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Europe, and I'm going to go to Latin America or Mexico, and I'm going to live there. Like, people wouldn't say that. It just wasn't really, it sounds so far-fetched and so crazy. Now the world as a whole essentially opened up. And now saying, you know what, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to, make this radical change in my life, is no longer, crazy. Like, everybody is now open to the idea of things, the world operating differently, things being different than they were a couple years ago. And that's why I think that travel is going to become a really, really cool experience that a lot of people are going to get to enjoy due to being forced to find an alternative. Because when you're living in an American city, like I was in New York last week, New York City, like people making $150,000 a year there, $125,000 a year there, are living probably below what someone making, or below standards of what someone making $35,000 a year would be living in Mexico, right? Depending on the part of Mexico, right? But like, when you live in one of these expensive cities like San Francisco, LA, Miami, any of these expensive cities, you're gonna burn $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year, and then at the end of the year have no money left, right? And when you start to see the policies that are being enacted right now throughout America, you can see one thing very, very clearly, that we're walking into stranger times. We're not walking into times where the cost of living is gonna get more controlled. They just came out and said inflation, the report came back as worse than expected, meaning that they're going to keep interest rates higher for longer. They're likely going to increase interest rates. There's not going to, I can almost promise you, I'd be shocked if there was a rate cut this year. And I said that last year, that there's not going to be a rate cut in 2024. And many people thought, oh, he's just, he's being negative, or he's not. It's like, it's just factually what I think is going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a rate cut. I thought the same thing in 2023, right? And many people thought January 2023 there was going to be a rate cut. I don't see a rate cut this year. I think they're going to keep rates where they are, and possibly even increase them 25 basis points. So if that does in fact happen, ask yourself, what is that going to do to business owners, right? Business owners are going to be forced to issue layoffs because they are going to be walking into a scenario where the cost to service their own debt is going to get more expensive. And most likely consumers are going to be spending less than they were a couple years ago. So they're getting hit with higher debt costs, higher expenses on their own business, and less cash flow coming in, right? So all of which is going to equate to more and more change. So all of this brings me to my final point, which is business owners that are seeing the writing on the wall right now, and they're reducing their expenses, increasing their cash flow, and pivoting and navigating with the times in a period where you have record high credit card debt and turbulence ahead. We're going to do a lot better in the long run. They're going to do a lot better. I think that's what's going to be happening across all companies. We're already seeing it now with massive layoffs that are spiking across logistics and trucking. Teachers are getting laid off. Hospitals are doing layoffs. Tech workers across the board. They're all going through this right now. And it's because they know what's actually going to be coming, which is going to be massive changes to the economy and an even bigger opportunity, I believe, for a lot of smart and savvy employees, employers, and Americans and people all over the world. And this is going to be the next couple of years is going to be the most important, I believe, to build wealth that we will ever see in our lifetimes. We're going to see so much change across the entire economy, and those that are, paying attention to it They're going to get rewarded because of it. What do you think about this entire situation? You think we're going to see a lot of people relocating all over the world? A lot of people, doing some things they otherwise would never have imagined doing, and putting themselves in a really, really strong position? I think so. I think that it's going to be, there's going to be this speedboat, as an analogy, a speedboat that's going really, really fast. It's nimble, it's quick, it's easy to move. And then there's going to be the cruise ships, where the cruise ship is really, really hard to move that cruise ship because, there's an iceberg ahead, and they can't move fast enough because they have way too many expenses, way too much debt. Office lease is, on for another year or two. They have a lot of capital costs, and they can't move, and they end up hitting the iceberg and going down. I believe it's going to be the small business owner that's nimble, quick, reduced expenses, that they can move a lot faster, that's going to be rewarded. And I think there's going to be a lot of small business owners that are going to be able to fit inside that category and make some really smart, well-informed decisions based on those chain events. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below, let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit, position yourself for funding, maybe a business loan, invest in distressed real estate, get a line of credit. We'd love to help you fix your credit if you have any issues at GreatCreditFast.com. Late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for Monday, and I'll catch you next video.